Hey, welcome to ZekeTalk. My name's Jim Tudor, and this is August 10th, 2017. And with me tonight is Michael Anderson.
Yes, hello, I am Michael Anderson, co-host of ZekeTalk many of these weeks, accordionist and ex-librarian. And with me, or at an undisclosed location, is our friend Kristen Keck, who I first got to know in the St. Joseph Doctor Who fan group from 1985.
Oh, wow.
You had to say that date, didn't you? Good.
So you have to give, a sense of the epicness, of the journey that we have gone through together.
Sure, yeah, this friendship predates the lifespan of some of our viewers, maybe. But that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's how we're going to play then. All right,
yeah,
fine.
Okay.
That. You want to go there? That's fine.
I'm just saying, it's fine. I'm perfectly open-minded about it. I would have been 12 when you met, but that's okay. No, anyhow, we just met, by the way. I don't know Kristen, and I'm already doing this sort of thing. So I'm sorry.
Is this the sort of thing you do with all your guests?
Yes. I say, oh, yeah, come be on the show. It'll be a lot of fun for me. Seriously, well, not seriously, but just moving on. We do have topics tonight.
Why is tonight like any other, unlike any other night?
Yeah,
we have topics. That's wonderful.
Topics, yes. Well, first of all, loyal viewers and listeners may know that Mike over here wasn't here last week, or maybe even the week before that, because I'm trying to remember if any of us were here that week.
No one was there.
No one was here. This was not a show that week. No. But last week you were not here, Mike, and you were on assignment with a special report. Go ahead.
A special report. No, last Thursday, instead of doing this wonderful podcast, I was instead enjoying a wonderful stage show with Kristen, the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Live, which, if any of you are going to be in a city where this is coming up, please go see it. If you have any doubts at all, put them aside. It is a wonderful evening's entertainment. You might think, oh, they're doing EGA again. But no, it's really a whole lot of fun, and Joel comes out and he introduces it, and he has a new invention where he talked about how the peanut brittle can that everyone gets, and they open up and they're spring-loaded snakes, and no one eats peanut brittle in a can. Why is that even
come in cans?
Yes.
It's not made that way. You are fooling no one. No one is fooled.
Why is this even a thing? And he said, I've designed a special thing where it actually looks like a mug that you open up, like a coffee mug, and the spring-loaded snakes come out. And it's like, this could actually fool your coworker if your coworker was not that bright, which, let's face it, that's probably most of our coworkers. It was great. I looked down, the price tag was hefty. I think it was almost $100, but it's a Joel invention.
Wait, it's real?
That's what I hear. It is a real thing, custom made by, apparently there's a factory in Pennsylvania that makes spring-loaded snakes, and they're the only ones that does it, and they had to make it special.
That was probably a big day at that factory when that call came through. It's like, oh,
we have a call.
You mean we get
to calls us?
Right, we get to make something different than peanut brittle cans. We get to put spring-loaded snakes in something else. That's what happened.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, and there was much rejoicing.
And they could charge $100.
Yeah,
because it's a celebrity invention.
No, it's a celebrity invention that it's only
Science Theater logo on it. It has the logo. It's a specially printed fabric on the spring-loaded snake.
Yes, only available at the showings. So you have to actually go there. You know, it's like a special tour sheet T-shirt that you get.
Right.
Limited edition.
They don't sell tour T-shirts at the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Live. They sell special edition spring-loaded snake.
Yeah.
Mud.
Well, there are T-shirts too.
Yeah, there are T-shirts.
Okay.
There was a poster. It was amazing.
You both went to this?
Yes.
So Jen, what did you? Or you're not Jen. What am I talking about? Where's Jen, by the way?
I am honored to be mistaken for Jen.
Yeah, you should be.
I'm going to get in trouble with her later on my comments on Doctor Who, so that's probably okay.
Okay, all right. So yeah, no, Kristen, what did you think of the entire Mystery Science Theater live event?
Somehow I missed that it was going to be a live event.
What?
Which, yeah, apparently I'm not very observant.
What did you think you were going to?
I thought we were just going to one of the Fathom showing events where they show one of the live shows, basically. Fathom does that every once in a while through the movie theaters. So somehow I missed that we were actually springing for a live show, which... All right. Yeah.
How much does a ticket to this cost? Because it's like, well, wait a minute. Why does a Fathom event screening cost $60? That's what
I have people for that. I don't deal with money. Are you kidding me?
Okay, all right. It's a librarian thing.
I have a wife for that. I don't need that.
Okay.
I never saw the tickets.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, we'll go to the show with Mike. It'll be great. We'll go up to the theater, you know, the AMC 400 or whatever it is down the street here. The prison. It looks like a prison.
Oh, the prison.
Yes.
That was the joke when they were building this huge, massive multiplex. It looked like a prison because it was walls with no windows. But yeah, we'll go to the prison and we'll see the show. It'll be great.
Yeah. Why does the movie theater have barbed wire around it? I don't get it.
Yes. Well, it did for a while. But that's
So,
yeah, I missed that it was a live show. I was pleasantly surprised. Also that it was downtown at the old... Crap, what is the name of that theater? It's one of the old movie palace theaters downtown Kansas City, and it's just gorgeous inside.
Yeah.
So you walk in and think, wow, this is amazing. We should be seeing Gone with the Wind or some epic film, and instead we're going to watch people play with puppets.
We're going to watch people play with puppets. And we could be watching D.W. Griffith's Intolerance, the way this was meant to be used. But no,
we're going to watch him play with puppets,
and watch movies. Watch the puppets watching movies.
Watch the puppets watching movies.
And what was the film again?
Ega. For snakes.
Ega.
Yes.
That's the name of the film.
I don't know this film.
Starring Richard Kiel.
Starring no one, actually. If we're honest, it's not starring anyone.
It's starring more puppets. No, you said Richard Kiel, Jaws of James Bond fame?
Yes, from Jaws and James Bond, and Captain Howdy from Hysterical, the Hudson Brothers movie.
I'm getting more lost by the second, but that's okay.
That's just trivia that you can bring out at any party. Did you know Richard Kiel was in the Hudson Brothers movie?
He was. And there's more than one Hudson Brothers movie, as it turns out. I didn't know that either.
That's news to me as well. So,
so what was the turnout like? Does Mystery Science Theater 3000 still reel them in?
It still reels them in. There were tons of people there applauding and standing ovation at the end. It was a blast, and I heartily recommend it.
Mm-hmm.
What do they do for an encore? Show another movie?
No, I was hoping that they might come out and maybe sing out, you know, every country has a monster. They're a great song. That would have been a great little encore. But Joel does a question and answer at the beginning from the audience, and at the end they come out. They take a bow, and he introduces everyone, and it's really cool.
Cool.
I love the moment of awe in your voice. It's really cool. Wow.
It's really cool, especially when he was talking about. Someone asked him about, you know, how he how he got the ideas for the puppets, and it involved, first of all, the detour into, I was going down to the art museum and I saw these Picasso exhibits, and that gave me the idea to make robots out of bowling pins and gumball machines.
Hey, inspiration comes from the unlikeliest of places.
Yes.
And then there was a raunchy joke, and it was perfect.
Yes. Raunchy joke is the kicker for any pretentious speech. Yes.
Yes. Once you've talked about Picasso, where else is there to go? Really?
Yeah, I really don't know. So, is this raunchier than what the Mystery Science Theater 3000 crew delivers on their television program?
No, it's about the same. It's when we say raunchy joke, we're talking about something innuendo. It's like something that might make Benny Hill blush back in the 70s, but by today's standards, no.
Okay. And one more question about Mystery Science Theater 3000 Live. There's been different people coming and going over the years in the Mystery Science Theater pool of talent. Who is involved in this?
Well, the new host is Jonah Ryan, playing Jonah Heston, and I really like him. People who were on the internet back in the 90s may remember the Joel versus Mike Flame Wars. I always liked them both. I may have had a preference for Joel because, come on, it's Joel. But,
I had a preference for Mike, but we can still be friends.
Okay, well, see, that's the thing, Many people weren't, but, this is why Kristen and I have the enduring friendship for all these many years.
Many years.
Yes.
Since 1985.
Not that long in the grand scheme of things.
Not that long.
Sorry about that.
The universe is very, very, very old. 1985. It's like nothing. That's nothing. Yeah.
So, but as I was saying, Jonah Ryan, bit shaky in the first 2 episodes, but by episode 3, he'd won me over. I think he's great.
Mm-hmm.
So none of those old cats are here. This is the new guy.
This is the new guy. It's all new cast, and that's the way that Joel originally intended it to be. He said, that during the course of the original run of the series, he only had a chance to change hosts once.
Mm-hmm.
But his original idea was that, the show could keep going and evolving and be a bit like Doctor Who, where there's a new denizen of the satellite above every couple of years.
Yeah. Call me nuts, but maybe I sense a segue.
Was that a segue?
I was just about to suggest that if you didn't pick that up.
Yeah. Well, let's go there. Doctor Who. There was some Doctor Who news while we were away.
Yes, the one that brought the internet.
More internet destroying. When everyone was done arguing about Joel versus Mike from Mystery Science Theater, now they get to argue about the new Doctor casting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Take it away, fans.
And this is nothing new. People always like arguing about the new Doctor casting, especially in this sort of nether period when they've just been announced, but we actually haven't seen them do anything in the role. Now's the time to get your most passionate opinions out there and stake your claim that she is either going to be the worst or the best.
Right.
Mm-hmm. The important thing is to get them out there before you have any actual evidence.
Yes.
That's the main thing. Have an opinion first.
And whatever your opinion is, it must be based entirely on gender.
Well, this is the first time we've got to do that. So that's, this is exciting. This is whole new territories of hatred and flame spewing that we've never experienced before. So
yes.
Right. Yes, I am the Doctor. Hear me roar. Hey. So what are your opinions? Tell us the name of this fine actress, by the way.
Yes, her name is Jodie Whittaker, and
I'm so glad you knew that.
Yes, you may have seen her in Broadchurch, or well, that's where I've seen her. So I mean, she is a fine actress, and I believe that she'll do well in the role. As Colin Baker, I believe, said, the role is basically actor-proof. Because what happens is when the new actor comes in, they start writing to the actor's strengths, so that it isn't like you're doing an interpretation of Hamlet where you have a set text. It's like all of a sudden you bring the new person in and you play to all their best qualities.
That's a dream role.
That's a good point.
I think it was Tom Baker who said that. He said the role was actor-proof, and so you get anyone in there and you give them good lines and you give them monsters to fight and people will just love him or now her.
Okay.
Well, that's the problem. It's to give them good lines that we're worried about, or at least that I'm worried about. I have less worries about the actress and more worries about what are they actually going to do? I mean,
what won't they do?
Yes. Well, my trepidation again. I think Jodie Whittaker is a fine actress. She was also in Attack of the Block, the show, that movie, which also gave us what's his name from Star Wars.
Nick Frost was in there. Oh, John Boyega.
Yeah,
he was the star of Attack the Block.
Yes, Finn from the new Star Wars movies.
Right, terrific film, by the way. That Attack the Block.
It's a fantastic film.
Oh. Well,
we'll have to do this.
No, it's aliens, and they attack a block in England, and it's kind of subsidized housing or something, and and they attack this block, and the aliens in this film, it's like no budget. I'm trying to remember, Mike, were the aliens in this film covered with basically guys in black suits with red eyes or something to that effect?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
it was very low budget, but
and it's not. It's like they just embrace it, and it works. It's not hokey. The film has comedy in it. Edgar Wright of Shaun of the Dead fame. Yeah, he's in the mix. Mm-hmm. Creatively, it's some level, I believe, but he did not direct this film. Anyhow. So she's in this film as well, Mike, you say?
Yes. And she is very good in it. I have no doubts that Jodie Whittaker will be great in the role, and I see her as being someone that, that people can emulate. I mean, already we're seeing people who are cosplaying as her.
Of course.
And it's a lot of excitement being built up. The only trepidation that I have is the new showrunner, which is Chris Chibnall taking over from Stephen Moffat. And Chris Chibnall has done some brilliant work. He's also done some really bad work. Obviously, he wrote the first season of Broadchurch, which was absolutely a brilliant drama. Second season, which he also wrote, was less so. Third season is really good, but what really makes it shaky is he was basically the main showrunner for Torchwood during its early couple of years.
This is a red flag.
Yes, he was the one who who wrote Cyberwoman.
He wrote Cyberwoman.
Okay.
He is our new showrunner, and he has done good work. I've seen the first season of Broadchurch, and it is brilliant. But he's also done some absolute crap, and so it's like, which one will we get? I like to think, because Stephen Moffat, for whatever you think of his strengths and weaknesses, he can be a brilliant writer. The episodes that he wrote of during the Russell T. Davies era were among the best episodes that show produced. Blink, The Girl in the Fireplace, the the one with "Are You My Mummy?" Yes. No, as a showrunner, yes, it could be argued that he used all his ideas in his first season, which was a great season, the first Matt Smith season, and then he sort of retreaded a lot of his sort of pet ideas over the next couple seasons instead of moving on. So you can argue that, but when he wanted to, he could really pull out a great story like The Time of the Doctor, the big anniversary show. But he also put out a lot of mediocre stuff. He was a better writer than a showrunner, we thought, whereas Russell Davis was a better showrunner than he was a writer. Russell Davis always had a good shape to the series, of the season, the good big bad, something to really latch onto. And Stephen Moffat tended to rely more on gimmicks and timey-wimey stuff, and let's solve a puzzle, it's rather than give us the big emotional heft arc. And where we go from here, Chris Chibnall. I hope we get the Broadchurch Chris Chibnall, but and not the Cyberwoman Chris Chibnall. That's all I have to say. It's like, this is a seminal moment. This is the first female Doctor. I'm talking to you, Chris Chibnall. Don't screw it up.
What's in your thoughts?
Okay. Well, obviously, I do not have the deep background in showrunners that Mike does, so. But speaking more as a more casual watcher of the show, I guess, but a longtime fan, my first reaction is this feels so much like a gimmick. I don't want it to be a gimmick. I really don't. And I'm always happy to see female characters in important roles, but I feel like we have female characters in important roles on Doctor Who. I'm not real sure the Doctor needs to be female for us to be engaged in this show. That being said, let's go for it. I mean, let's have the best female Doctor ever, because it's the first female Doctor ever.
That's right.
But it's just, I'm just worried about that this is going to be such a gimmick. And she's suddenly going to have, and this is going to sound odd from me, as Mike knows, because I'm all for big strapping male companions. But suddenly she's going to be surrounded by 3 big strapping male companions, and I don't think the Doctor needs to be in love with anybody. I don't think that anybody needs to be in love with the Doctor to make us engaged in this friendship process.
Let me just say, I am not a Doctor Who watcher, despite over the years Mike's best efforts and the efforts of several other of my friends. I just haven't had room for it in my life, as it turns out. So I take your word for it that the show is phenomenal and fantastic and worthy of memorizing all the showrunners. But
yes, all 2 of them. 3 now with Chris.
I could have swore that list was longer, Mike. Anyway, I'm just saying, what was I saying? I doggone it. All right. Well, anyway, when you mentioned all those, the what? Oh, I remember what I was going to ask. Is Doctor Who, does the Doctor fall in love on this show? Is this, like in the 50-plus years of this, how reoccurring is that? Is this like a James Bond type of...
In the reboot.
Yeah.
And let's all blame the movie for this, but in the reboot, there has been a tendency for either companions to fall for the Doctor, which I get. I really do. And I could argue that goes back to the classic or original series. However, how are we? Oh God, there's another cat. How are we calling that, Mike? Is it the classic? Is it the original?
Yeah, the classic series.
Classic series.
Yeah.
You could see the companions falling in love with the Doctor, and that's fine. But it was never on screen. The Doctor does not kiss people, except in a very a sort of paternal way occasionally on their forehead. I just feel like that for me personally, that's the least interesting aspect of this show, of the reboot. And yeah, I don't want to see any more of it. I think we've done it. Thank you. Good. Yes. Stop now.
Yes, the reboot has sort of leaned heavily on the sort of the love from afar, the affection.
Yes. Oh my God.
Let's look off.
Who's getting with who here? This is who? See? Who's getting?
Ooh, it's a pun.
Yeah. Who? Yeah.
Or a play on words.
Yes. Yeah. Which again, I think it works. Well, it's like any of these things. If you go back to that well too many times, then it loses its impact. Yes. I mean, the Doctor-Rose relationship was, really long and romantic, and fitted towards the romantic tropes, and the, but, when you go back to it, yes, when you go back to it with the next companion and the next companion, then it's like you have to find something new. And Steve Moffat thought he found the answer by making the companion a puzzle to be solved, and sort of lost, the fact, why did just make them an interesting character?
Yeah.
I will say that this past character, Bill, the companion for the current Doctor, was great. And, I think, he really nailed it in the last season. It was so great after, coming off of Clara, which, as I said, so many times seemed more like a plot contrivance than a character.
Yeah.
But, and we have to say that Peter Capaldi has just been brilliant in the role. Even when he's given, material that wasn't quite a material, he just blew it out of the water. And we're all going to be sad to see him go. And, and Jodie Whittaker, we wish you luck. You have some big shoes to fill. But I think you'll be up to it.
So reading between the lines, Kristen, it sounds like your concern about the surrounding the new Doctor with 3 strapping dudes is that they will, the showrunner here and the writers won't be able to resist cultivating a romance because this is a woman.
Yes. Well, the same is true if Bill, who is gay, is that correct?
Yes, she is a lesbian.
She is gay. If Bill stays and suddenly there's a romantic relationship there. And I'm kind of two minds about that, because I think it would be interesting to see someone go from, well, this is this old crotchety Scottish guy, and now she's a gorgeous blonde, and suddenly I'm very attracted to this person who was the same person, sort of, but not, that's an interesting take for a little bit. Not forever. But I don't want, I'm not, okay, hold on.
Well,
I don't want it to be a whole show.
Yes. Well, what I liked about Russell Davis's first season is that he sort of took some of these things that we talk about. He did have the one episode where we had a companion washout. Where it's like we bring in this random guy, to go travel with the Doctor for one episode, and he washes out. I mean, he wasn't very good at it.
Yeah.
And that's great for an episode, but the tendency these days is to do big, long season arcs. And it's great when you have a great story for that arc, but sometimes you get something that it's like, this could have been handled in like an episode or two, but instead it's being dragged out over the entire season. And, again, that it comes down to the skill of the writer. And Chris Chibnall, again, I've seen it in him. He has the ability.
He is the one who will bring balance. Wait, no, sorry.
Wrong franchise.
Wrong franchise. Sorry about that.
You know, so long as he doesn't put the Doctor in a metal cyber bikini, I think that's a definite
Oh, great.
step.
Now I have that in my head. Thank you, Mike. That's exactly what I needed to think about.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Good.
Okay, Mike, I need you to to detail, in loving detail, recap your favorite Doctor Who actress, because I need to go move my box fan. I'll be right back.
Oh. I'm supposed to detail my favorite Doctor Who actress, or
Doctor Who actress. Can we do companions?
Well, I suppose so, because.
No. I mean, can we just talk about companion moments? Because.
Sure.
Okay, I'm back.
Yes.
There, you can stop now.
We haven't got started yet.
Oh.
We were like, well, what does he mean?
just talk, man. I had to go.
You asked a question of English majors. This is a bad idea.
Like
we're going to analyze the question first.
Flop sweating. I had to move that phone. That's just really all that was. Well, guys, Doctor Who, best television show of all time, right?
Yes. It can be.
Yes. Moving on. Okay.
I will say, Doctor Who is one of those shows that if you sit me down and show me any episode, I will find something in it to enjoy. Might not be much, but I will enjoy it on some level. From the worst episode to the best episode. So, you know, that.
How many have there been?
How many episodes?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
It's been going for 50 years, so.
Right.
Lots and lots and lots.
Is it in the thousands?
No, but, well, it depends, because the original was a serial, and so, you know, technically it was 150 odd stories, but it was actually like 600 episodes.
And you've seen them all. You've both seen them all.
No.
Multiple times.
Nobody's seen them all. Well, somebody somewhere might have seen them all.
Yes.
But the BBC didn't keep them all, so they're not all in existence still.
Yes.
You know,
I have experienced them all. They do have audio recordings and of all the episodes, because fans tape them off the TV. So there are audio recordings of every episode, and there are still photographs that people took pictures of the TV screen. So we can see, you know, basically what they look like, and they've actually done some animations based on the old audio recordings.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any more obsessive.
Yes. I was going to say, if they still have these scripts laying around, why not redo them now?
Well, the thing is that the scripts are lying around, that they're also of their time. You know, it's like, you know, you can redo, you know, an episode of 1960s, you know, television that was basically made to be done in the studio, and they've done it. They did, the BBC's first science fiction series was The Quatermass Experiment, which ran for 6 episodes in the 50s, and most of it is lost. But they redid the Quatermass experiment from the original script, starring David Tennant of Doctor Who fame, oddly enough. But they redid it, and it was so hard to watch because it was so inert, because it was basically meant to be done as a studio-bound, you know, basically stage play shot on television. And we're not used to that anymore. And so we could go back and redo everything like that, but, you know, it's just hard to get into.
Best to move forward and let the past just evaporate.
Well, plus who are you going to get to replace Patrick Troughton? Yeah.
Don't look at me.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
You know who's a good replacer is like George Clooney. When he took over as Batman.
Yes.
Look how that went.
Let's look how that went.
Yes. And I think they actually dusted off an old Adam West script for his movie. So, you know, that's what you would get.
There you go. That's what we would get.
Oh my goodness, the deeply embarrassing moments of my fandom.
Oh, this is nothing. We're going to move on and talk briefly about The Tick.
The Tick. Spoon.
Yeah, which I do know about.
Spoon.
Yeah.
Which is now coming back.
That was it. Okay, that was all.
It's coming back as a new TV series on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's exciting. I personally had mixed feelings about this Tick new show just because maybe like you guys, my Tick experience did begin with the original comic books, which was began in like the late 1980s, a very small press thing. I was fortunate enough to buy the first issue when it came out, just on happenstance. Yeah, and under the heavy recommendation of my comic shop owner friend. I bought all the issues, and it was always a big deal when a new one would come out because sometimes years would go by before another episode.
Yes.
Yeah, and then the cartoon happened, which was just phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really my favorite. And when we talk about the Tick on television, I'm just like, you know what? Just give me those 3 seasons on home, like on DVD. And that's all I really want. Did that live action Tick back in the 90s, and where they had everybody sleeping together and jokes. And I was like, I don't want that. It was like a primetime sitcom.
Yeah, they basically turned it into, and this is how they described it, as Seinfeld with superheroes.
And no thanks.
And it was, and I remember when the Tick cartoon was on the air, I actually got to see Ben Edlund, the creator of the Tick, and he was talking about how they produced the cartoon series. And after his talk was over, I went up and I needled him about doing the Tick number 13 to resolve the cliffhanger, which is something he still hasn't done.
I thought he did. No?
No, not that I know of. If he did, he didn't tell me. Ben, call me.
Yeah. Whoops. He dropped the ball, didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he's probably intimidated by you. I mean, you went up to him and sort of verbally assaulted him at this.
Yes. Yeah, I shook him visibly by the lapels, which was odd because he didn't have any. But I made lapels for him just so I could shake him by them.
Yes.
But no, it was a very nice talk at the Austin Film Festival, and he was talking about, that he wasn't sure he'd ever go back to the comics, but if he did, the only reason he would do so is because, there were so much limitations on the material that he could do with the Tick cartoon series. There were so many limitations that he just wanted to do one episode or a comic book to get it all out of his system. All the stuff that they had to cut down. And he said he was amazed at what they were able to get away with. And he was talking about the episode where Arthur has a date, and the Tick makes a little wooden boy. It's like, but it's hobby night, Arthur. A little wooden boy, he would never miss hobby night. And he was like, and then they get swallowed by a whale for some reason, but which happens. But yes, I sort of got the Tick series on Fox did sort of seem like it was, all the stuff that was, may have been implied in a nudge, wink, wink sort of way in the cartoon series, but sort of spelled out in more graphic detail, and it wasn't as funny. The Tick to me is someone big and blue and silly.
Yeah.
Taking on villains who are even sillier.
Right.
El Cid.
Yeah, that's a favorite.
That's a brilliant one.
Stop my corn army.
Or the Ottoman Empire. That was another.
I showed as much of that as I have here. I have 2 seasons on DVD, and they never, to my knowledge, ever did do the 3rd. on DVD, and that's a shame. They were hard to watch here in St. Louis, by the way. They only ran them on this very staticky, low-powered channel.
Yes. Well, at the time, yeah, the Fox affiliate, for some reason, they had lost the rights to show the cartoons, and so they went to the local Christian station.
It was terrible.
It was terrible, yes.
Really, really, really staticky, and they would cut in these like tacky gospel messages in the middle and stuff. It was really weird.
It was bizarre. It was even weirder when you got to stuff like the X-Men, and it's like, in the middle of Wolverine, carving someone up, and it's like, remember, Jesus loves you and always forgive. Yeah. And now back to Death and Mayhem.
Well, yeah, their hearts are in the right place, but holy cow, it was hard to watch. Yes. It was really hard to watch.
And I think that the other way that the TV series fell down was that, with the cartoon, you could do things like LC. You could have multiple Santa. You could have, a giant whale that comes and eats our heroes up. You could have, all
the
these.
inherent surrealism of it is so much suited to the cartoon.
Yeah.
Instead of live action, that
yes, with the live action, you basically got them hanging around in the coffee shop for most of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which, even with the best CGI in the world, the whale is not going to work. I mean, it's just not.
And I think I have seen the pilot episode for the new series, and it stylistically, I mean, the live action series in the '90s. It was done single camera, but it still felt really static and, very much, it's just people hanging around talking for much of it. It could have been a 3-camera sitcom for most of it. But since then, the single camera sitcom has evolved so much, and people have done so much with it. I mean, witness, things like the paintball episode from Community, directed by Justin Lin, of all people. That's just brilliant stuff, crammed in a half hour. And this new series feels a lot like that, in that, they are being a much more daring stylistically. But there's also the thing, and I think Peter Safranowicz as the Tick, I really like his performance. It's I think they have a good Tick, but I can see that they're going. This is the typical darker and grittier take on the Tick. Or Arthur before was the chubby accountant with big dreams, the sort of Sancho Panza to the Don Quixote. In this new version, Arthur has PTSD. After seeing his parents smashed by a giant robot when he was a kid. So, he's constantly having flashbacks to his very traumatic childhood. And, he sort of turns to this superhero stuff as a way to cope. And it's very interesting psychologically, but I'm interested to see how it's actually going to play, because it goes to some really dark places.
Yeah, that sounds darker than even the comics or any of that, where,
yes,
we did have characters like Paul the Samurai and the Man-Eating Cow, and, there could be some death here and there. On the cartoon, of course, there wasn't.
Yeah.
Man-Eating Cow, oddly enough, did not eat any single person while in the cartoon, but...
So...
You just have to take our word for it. It is a man-eating cow, okay?
Yes, it showed up. It was like, waiting for the shoe to drop. It's like, you have the character named Man-Eating Cow, you have him on the show, and he doesn't do his bit. Come on.
Yeah. Well, let's ask, how far down the fan rabbit hole did you guys go? Did you purchase the comic books of the Tick, and did you purchase then the spin-offs, Paul the Samurai, and there was another character called Chainsaw Vigilante, and there was another one, Man-Eating Cow, had her own series. Did you guys get those?
I definitely got all the Ben Edlund pinned issues, which was the first 12 issues of the series, and plus the original Paul the Samurai 3-issue series. And I got, they had the first Tick spinoffs, which was the Tick Karma Tornado.
Yeah.
And they had the Man-Eating Cow, and they had, I guess, the Paul the Samurai ongoing series. And those were, the first episodes were, sort of like story by Ben Edlund, but written by someone else, who I believe went on to write for the cartoon as well. But, you could tell that it just wasn't coming from the same, sense of the surreal that Ben Edlund brought to it. So, I got the first runs of those, but, after that, I stopped collecting them.
Well, and Kristen, what are your thoughts on the new show? Are you looking forward to this? Are you going to watch it?
I will probably watch it, mostly on Mike's recommendation at this point, because frankly, I'm still of the opinion that the Tick doesn't translate well to live action. It just maybe not meant for that medium.
Yeah.
There are things that are just not meant for certain mediums, and that this may be comic book and cartoon. But I'll probably give it a shot because I'll watch anything.
Okay. Well, that said, though, I mean, I'm with you. That's my initial reaction. I'm kind of like, oh gosh, and then I saw the pictures of the new Tick from this series. Thought, no, that doesn't look right either. So that was kind of two strikes against it. But yesterday I watched this quick trailer of him busting through the chains, the girl getting the cat out of the tree or whatever. The chains were swings at a park, and it seemed okay. And it occurred to me, this is Amazon Prime. This is not the 1990s TV. This is now, and Amazon will just shovel cash into something like this, and there's really nothing they can't do. I mean, there could be CG characters and all kinds of weird animated nonsense for all we know. It could also go into R-rated territory for all we know. I don't know what this is going to be.
I do recall there being an expletive or two in the pilot episode, but nothing too R-rated. They are going a lot more daringly with the stylistic. I've seen there's like a 2-minute long preview of the new season that you can look up. Yes, it is. And that shows a lot more of what's going on, and the CGI it doesn't look great. It looks like
I'm a Doctor Who fan. I don't need excellent CGI. Okay?
Exactly. Yes.
I like all my caves to be paper mache.
Yeah.
Right.
Paper mache caves are the best caves.
Yes, they contain Daleks and Cybermen and other things.
But yes, I mean, Ben Edlund again. He's one of these writers that he's done brilliant work. He did the Smile Time episode of Angel, which is probably the best episode of Angel ever.
Yeah, I have the puppet in my basement.
Yes.
Angel, vampire puppet Angel from Smile Time.
Yes.
I bought that. A long time ago.
And now you've admitted to it on camera. So
hey, I'm okay. I'm proud of it. I'm glad I have it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You want to buy it?
Yep.
It's for sale.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. This ZekeTalk doesn't pay for itself.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway. Yeah, no, I'm okay. I don't have Amazon Prime, so I guess I'm hosed here.
That's right. only I. Yep.
No, I have Amazon Prime. Ha!
Yeah.
You're the only one here.
Order free shipping. It's free shipping on all of the items you purchase.
That's right.
And a bunch of shows.
Yes.
All right, Amazon Prime.
It's a business model. I'm not sure how it works, but hey, if it gets me, if I don't have to leave the house to get my toilet paper anymore, then that's the price I'm going to have to pay.
Yeah. What a random business model.
Yes.
You know, we'll sell you anything and ship it to you for free. And just to make sure you don't want to leave your house, here's a bunch of TV shows that we've created.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And is there other stuff too? Do they throw in, they sweeten the deal even further?
Oh, you get, it's basically another
that comes around. And...
Oh, you can get the Amazon Echo. you can
Echo.
You can ask it
Echo.
questions. It's like Siri or
it's like the Google Home thing.
Or Noah, yes.
Which we have actually.
You have this device?
Yes, we do. Mostly we ask it to play Harry Belafonte. So if anyone's listening in through the Google Home, they know we like Harry Belafonte a lot.
Is it
maybe too much.
Is it become self-aware yet?
Not to my well, she doesn't say anything, that's for sure.
Oh, it's a girl.
Yeah, her name is Betty.
Oh, well, that sounds sweet.
I'm not sure why Heather named her. So
okay.
Her name is Betty.
I don't know.
And we ask her to spell things. The first night we asked her to spell a lot of things, and then we asked her to play a lot of sounds, like play the sound, okay, Google, what's the sound of rain or something like that. And eventually I left the room and I hear Heather going, okay, Google, what does David Tennant sound like? And I was like, wait a minute. Being there, listening to David Tennant? What?
What's going on in there?
What's going on in there? So, yeah, that's Google Home, pretty much.
Google
and
Home.
It plays music at you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but thanks for that.
Yeah, wasn't that fun?
Yeah. I don't have any of those things.
Yes.
Yeah. Every now and then somebody will knock on the door and be like, hey, you need to purchase our security alarm system. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
No.
So this is not that.
Yeah, next time we'll bring Google Home on to co-host, and every now and then we'll just ask it to spell something or play Harry Belafonte.
Yes.
Okay.
Really good at that.
What do cows sound like?
What do cows sound like? Seriously.
I haven't left my apartment in a very long time. What do cows sound like? Yes.
What does outside sound like? I don't remember how that works anymore.
Okay. Well, everybody, this has been fantastic. I'm going to pull the plug now.
Okay.
I did, this is my contribution to this conversation. I was thinking about not mentioning this, but I read in the news last week that maybe you saw this too, that Facebook and I think Google, they had developed some artificial intelligence programs, and those programs got too smart, and they decided that the English language was, too cumbersome, and they chucked it and started their own weird computer language that the human scientists, the programmers were like completely like in the dark. It was gibberish to them. So they're like, well, what do we do? The machines have started their own language, and we don't know what they're saying to each other. And they said it appeared to be quite rudimentary, but they didn't know. So they shut down the machines. They unplugged them. They turned them off. They killed them. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, okay. We just turned the corner into like Blade Runner murky morality here. What's going on? Is this
interesting?
Yeah.
Did you hear all that?
I did read about that. Yes.
Yeah. What would you do?
We'll have to see. It's hard to say. Sometimes these stories are maybe a little bit hyped. maybe they.
Is this maybe an exaggeration?
Exaggerate the intelligence. It's like, oh no, it's really smart. We had computers, and they were so intelligent that we had to turn them off. Yes.
The birth of Skynet is exaggerated.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay. Assuming our computer overlords do not overturn our show.
I trust Betty. She likes Harry Belafonte.
Yes.
I think you're perfectly safe with that machine in your home.
I think so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's all the better.
Yes.
Let's hope so.
Kristen, it's been fantastic to have you here.
It was very nice to be here.
Come back anytime.
Okay. We can probably arrange that.
Any time.
The technology.
Any night we're doing the show.
Okay.
And I don't know what the next show will be. And Kristen, by the way, is there anything you care to share, promote? Any quick takes, hot takes?
Oh, this is a bad question. Never ask a librarian for reading or any sort of recommendation, actually, because we'll give them to you. But I am reading at the moment see, and I'm very articulate too, particularly this late at night.
It is.
Daniel Abraham has written a series of books called the Coin and Dagger series, which is fabulous. And I think he deserves a lot more recognition than I think he's getting, although he probably is extremely well known, and, you know, I just am late to the party as usual. But he's done some good stuff. This is a great series. There are like 5 books, I think, and it's just amazing. I am also reading his first quartet, which is the Long Price Quartet, and it's also very good. So these were his debut novels. He's really amazing. Let's see. I think that's about it as far as really amazing books I'm reading right now.
Really amazing books. That's great. We don't get a lot of book recommendations, so that's.
Oh, I can give them to you. Let me show you.
Right that wrong.
I will.
And well,
Mike has actual projects. So
I'm sorry.
Mike has actual stuff he does. I just read books.
That takes all kinds. Mike, what are you working on?
Okay, well, I wanted to recommend, as regular listeners of us know, that Jim and I are big fans of the Criterion collection. And Barnes & Noble is having its twice annual Criterion sale until August 15th. So if you're listening to this now, it is the 10th. Hearing it now, you can go and you can get all the Criterion titles for half price. And I have a selection here. I have the Chimes at Midnight, Orson Welles' take on Falstaff.
Great film. I reviewed this film for ScreenAnarchy.com. You can find my review.
I also picked up Tarkovsky's Stalker, which is probably the most dull and exciting at the same time post-apocalyptic movie.
Featured prominently in Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron, currently in theaters.
Yes. The story is that when the studio heads saw the first cut of it, they were like, "This is very long and boring." And Tarkovsky, in his wisdom, actually went back, recut it to make it slower.
That'll show him.
There you go.
And finally, I picked up the new Blu-ray edition of Ghost World.
I want that, Mike.
One of my favorite films from the early 2000s.
Yes, that's a great film, and I hear a great Blu-ray as well.
Yes, it is. Has a great commentary track and behind-the-scenes documentary new to this edition. Yes, and you know it's a great film and a cautionary tale for people like us. So
now, I guess it is. Here's what I'll always associate with Ghost World, by the way, not to be a downer, but seeing that movie was the first time I left the house after 9/11. That was to go see Ghost World. I was like, you know, is it okay to see movies? You know, it was like back then, everything's like, what, you know, can we still have jokes? You know, we didn't know. But yeah, no, Ghost World got me out of the house, and yeah, it's a fantastic film, and I'm so glad that Criterion has finally got around to releasing it. It's been rumored for a while, as has Stalker. And I'll just share this with you. My one purchase of this sale is that film, Stalker. I went to Barnes & Noble. I was heading over to see Atomic Blonde at the press screening because I was going to review that movie. And I ran in to buy Stalker. And I got it. And then I went and watched Atomic Blonde. I'm sitting there watching Atomic Blonde, and there you get to about the middle of Atomic Blonde, and you know they're in East Germany, and there's a theater showing Stalker, and I'm like, oh, look at that! I just bought that movie, and then it goes on for 10 minutes. They go in the theater and they're fighting, and Stalker's playing, and you know it's like, wow, you know somebody's a fan, and it's like the universe is having some sort of Stalker convergence for me that night. So, anyway, Criterion, yeah, and one more thing, big news today. Criterion announced Spine number 900. Did you see this news?
I did not. Tell me, what's number 900?
900. This is, I am of, I don't know, at least two minds about this. It's their biggest box set ever. It is 100 years of Olympics movies. The Olympics films, like Leni Riefenstahl's Olympia. Back when she's not making films about Hitler, she made films about the Olympics. And then great Japanese one called Tokyo Olympiad, which was a Criterion years ago and went out of print. All of this has been restored and remastered, along with 6,000 minutes of other Olympic movies that you never knew you needed in your collection, and all of this is coming out in December.
Okay. Do you know if it has the year of the Sex Olympics?
That may be a hidden Easter egg.
For those of you who don't know, Your Sex Olympics was a British TV play written by Nigel Keel, who also wrote The Quatermass Experiment, which was referenced earlier in this show, this very podcast. Mm-hmm. So everyone will want to rewind to that point and see how I tie it all together.
You did tie it all together, and I just want to get out of this rabbit hole. So I'll see you guys later. All right.
Happy trails, everyone.
Yeah, Kristen, thank you very much. And everybody, yes, this is ZekeTalk. You can subscribe to this channel and get all the ZekeTalk episodes right away, because we're going to keep doing them. I'm not sure why. And also there's ZekeFilm.org, which is our website. Go there for film reviews and articles. New article up today by Justin Moray, reflecting on a full year of reviewing Kino Lorber Blu-rays. So that'll be that's a good article, and Justin's a great writer. And let's see what else. I'm going to have the good, the bad, and the ugly reviewed. I'll be blowing the lid off of some big problems with that Blu-ray. So the good and the bad and the ugly about it. So do log in to ZekeFilm.org for all of that fantastic content, and we'll see everybody very, very soon.
Yeah, well, yes, and I think, Jim, you know why we keep doing these. It's because you, the listeners, demand them.
I'm not getting those emails. That's so funny. All right. Well, on that up note of positivity, we'll see everyone later, and take care.
Happy trails.